The movie opens with a man announcing a young lady, Mickey, as the winner of a campus pageant. She confidently takes the stage for her victory speech, which is received poorly by the audience due to her tone of pride and arrogance. Meanwhile, her fellow contestants express disgust towards her, prompting Mickey to confront them when she overhears them talking about her. Her confrontation annoys one of the contestants who almost engages in a fight with her, but she manages to control herself, and they leave the stage one by one. As they leave, Aiko, another model, garners attention from her fans. Feeling ignored, Mickey attempts to boost her own morale with self-affirming words, but she faces an unfortunate event when one of her shoe heels breaks, causing her to fall. A young man intervenes just in time, saving her from getting injured. After recovering, she swiftly gets up and informs the young man that she'll only thank him for saving her. He apologizes and admits it's his first time seeing someone as beautiful as she is, leaving Mickey speechless as they lock their eyes. In the following scene, Mickey narrates the pageant event to her sister, Misaki. Misaki describes the encounter between Mickey and the young man, Hiramasa, who has now become her boyfriend, as love. She expresses concern that Hiramasa is very popular and attractive, so he might cheat on Mickey. However, Mickey finds Misaki's worries funny and bursts into laughter, stating confidently that no guy would ever cheat on her. Guess that's like saying, the sun might forget to rise tomorrow. 1 year later, Mickey arrives at her workplace for a meeting and receives a call from her boyfriend, Hiramasa. He reminds her that tomorrow marks their 1-year anniversary and suggests celebrating at the pageantry center, followed by some fun activities. Delighted by this news, Mickey quickly ends the call when her colleagues call her attention. Later in the canteen, Mickey blushes as she thinks about her boyfriend's plans. A friend approaches and reveals that she saw Hiramasa the day before purchasing a diamond ring engraved with H and M, their initials. Surprised by this news, Mickey recalls Hiramasa mentioning something about having fun during their earlier conversation. She returns home and excitedly announces her engagement tomorrow to her sister, who stares at her in surprise. Mickey rushes to the wardrobe to find an outfit for their anniversary. The next day, she arrives at the campus pageantry and interrupts the winner's speech, drawing admiration from the audience. As she searches for Hiramasa, a runner-up from last year's campus event, Mariko approaches her and introduces herself. Mickey arrogantly brushes her off, claiming she only retains important information, and walks away. While looking for her boyfriend, she hears a lady, Rinko, calling out Hiramasa's name frantically. Approaching her, Mickey asks why she's searching for her boyfriend, and learns that Rinko is pregnant with Hiramasa's child, and he has many other girlfriends. Mickey finds it hard to believe such information, and dismisses Rinko. Soon after, she receives a text from Hiramasa, requesting a picture of her smiling, for him to alleviate work stress. She poses for a selfie, and begins to hear cameras clicking around her. Realizing other women are doing the same, she maintains her cool. Suddenly, Mariko approaches her, asking her to take a picture of her. She grabs her phone to check the message, and sees that Hiramasa sent the same request to everyone. She rushes out of the hall overwhelmed, causing a commotion and spilling drinks on her dress. When she arrives at Hiramasa's workplace, she meets Rinko again. Seeing Hiramasa surrounded by women, Rinko asks if Mickey believes her now. But Mickey insists there must be a misunderstanding, and leaves to clarify things with Hiramasa. As she leaves to meet Hiramasa, the woman shows her an envelope from Hiramasa's secretary filled with money, given to prevent her from exposing anything about him. She describes him as that kind of man. Mickey leaves in anger to confront Hiramasa, who stares at her silently and gestures to his security to take her away. Despite their attempts, Mickey refuses to stop causing a scene, and breaks free to question Hiramasa about the diamond ring he purchased. He reveals it's for another woman, Mio, whose birthday is today. Heartbroken, Mickey asks why he invited her to the pageant center, and Hiramasa explains he wanted to see all the women he likes in one place. Ignoring Mickey, he leaves in his car while she curses and laments. Once Mickey is exhausted, she grabs her shoes to leave when a man, Katawaki, calls her troublesome, catching her attention. She confronts him, but he dismisses her acts, saying nothing will change with the politician. Mickey insists she always gets what she wants, and vows to make Hiramasa notice her again, then dumps him later. The man scoffs, suggesting she needs to become prime minister to achieve that goal, and walks away. At a School of Politics conference the next day, Mickey barges in, causing a commotion by declaring her ambition to become prime minister, which causes laughter from everyone present. She interrupts the speech of Kurosaki, the secretary, demanding they play the prime minister's song. When told it's reserved only for the prime minister, she refuses to leave until it's played, Consequently, Katawaki orders the security to throw her out due to her disruptive behavior. On her way home, she curses the security for their rough handling. Coincidentally, the secretary Kurosaki sees her and tries to catch her attention from behind, but Miki is lost in thought. Eventually, she realizes someone is talking to her and sees the secretary. The secretary praises Miki's audacity and also finds it funny that Miki wants to become prime minister just to get revenge. She leaves after offering a kind suggestion on how Miki can achieve her goal. The next morning, Miki meets Kurosaki in her office. It appears she's trying to assign Katawaki to assist Miki. Eventually, Miki argues about being helped by the guy who also states plainly that he refuses to help Miki, as he doesn't want to waste his energy on something that is useless. Miki argues that she's going to be a prime minister, but he tells her that she's no good. Miki, in her defense, tells him that she's a combination of beauty and talent. Katawaki tells her that what a prime minister needs is the ability to be loved by people. He walks out telling her that she isn't even as good as the television host on the television. Observing the TV host closely, Miki realizes that she's Mio, the lady Hiromasa gave the diamond ring to. She also notices the ring on her finger and gets angry at Katawaki for the comparison. Turning to the secretary for guidance, she tells Miki that before she can become a prime minister, she needs to be elected as a member of the National Assembly. When asked if she has a friend who can help her become the prime minister, she keeps mute. The secretary informs her that she has a class at the moment and refers her to Katawaki while praising him and revealing that she's the one who brought him up. Miki makes a face that says she doesn't want to have anything to do with Katawaki, who also stands up to his boss and reveals he can't teach Miki. Kurosaki walks up to him and inquires if he wants to be a political aide forever. She also asks if he doesn't aspire to be a political secretary one day, but Katawaki replies that he can only become one when he meets a politician worthy of it. Kurosaki explains that he will never meet such a politician in his lifetime, and goes on to remind him of his role in the life of any politician he's assigned to. Katawaki finally changes his mind and warns Miki sternly to do whatever he says, or else he's out. He starts by telling her about cleaning the office, which Miki argues about. And so begins the saga of political aspirations and office cleaning duties. The following day, Katawaki starts teaching Miki the fundamentals of politics. They soon begin to argue, prompting him to remind her of their agreement and his lack of interest in her pride. Miki agrees to continue the lesson and sits quietly as Katawaki lists the requirements for the election, emphasizing the importance of being a big political figure for benefits such as securing funds and votes in her region. Miki describes being a big political figure as a simple thing, but Katawaki harshly corrects her, stressing that it is not as easy as she believes. After class, the duo are seen discussing. Katawaki advises Miki that the candidate capable of getting the most votes wins. Miki confidently mentions her many fans, saying that getting votes won't be an issue. Katawaki asks the number of followers she has on social media, and she admits to having none, as she doesn't have an Instagram or Twitter account. He tells her that without social media, she lacks a fan base. Annoyed, Miki is about to respond when Kurosaki joins, supporting Katawaki's statement. She suggests Miki leverage her looks and good fashion sense online. Miki blushes, boasting she can gain followers easily. However, Katawaki reveals her opponent gained 300,000 followers in 2 weeks, leaving Miki speechless and concerned about the large number of followers she has to gain within the short period of 2 weeks. Katawaki makes his way to the door silently, but Miki stops him, saying she'll do it. He smirks and leaves. Later at home, Miki starts her social media growth journey, with Misaki as her personal photographer. The following day, Kurosaki checks out Miki's social media handle and worries that she'll not meet up with the huge number of followers in 2 weeks' time. She questions if Katawaki mentioned such a huge number, so she'll give up on her own. Katawaki replies that Miki winning the election is hopeless, and is about to leave when Kurosaki-san reminds him that whether Miki wins or not depends on the secretary. Kurosaki-san points out that Katawaki hates politicians who are selfish and tell lies. She excludes Miki from the list, but Katawaki argues that Miki is contesting because she was dumped, so she's selfish. Kurosaki-san tells him that Miki doesn't lie, and he doesn't have anything else to say. Just then, Miki walks in, and Kurosaki sends them to a party speech. Afterward, Kurosaki meets Hiromasa and his grandfather, who encourages her to do everything in her power to see that his grandson wins the election. But Kurosaki-san breaks the news of working for a different person, and also mentions her name when Hiromasa inquires who she's working for. Meanwhile, Miki and Katawaki are on their way to the speech party, and won't stop arguing as usual. Suddenly, Miki sees a pregnant lady selling tissue paper in the rain. She recognizes her as the lady Hiromasa got pregnant, and approaches her to inquire what she's doing in the rain with her pregnancy. The lady feels Mickey is there to mock her and refuses to leave the rain when Mickey asks her to go to the coffee with her. Surprisingly, Mickey snatches the basket of tissue papers and begins to distribute them to passers-by. Katawaki watches in admiration and decides to help distribute the tissue papers. The next day, as Mickey arrives at the office, she meets Katawaki going out. He instructs her to follow him, and she inquires where they're headed. He reveals they're going for a TV interview, a radio interview, and another TV interview. Mickey complains about the many activities for the day, and Katawaki asks if she doesn't want to grow her followers again. On hearing this question, Mickey keeps quiet and follows him. After the interviews, Mickey recorded a massive increase in her social media followers and likes as she reached 300,000 followers before the end of 2 weeks. The huge milestone is celebrated by her teammates as they all gather around Mickey. Later, Katawaki is on his way home when he sees Mickey studying and informs her to go home as they're done for the day. Mickey tells him she's studying for the interview tomorrow, as she doesn't want to make any mistakes. He grabs the paper which she's studying, and she quickly stands up to get it from him, but they pause and look at each other for a while, before Katawaki invites her out to eat pork the next day, and also warns that nothing is attached to his invite, as he'll be giving her pointers for the interview, and that's all. Immediately after he leaves, Mickey calls Misaki to tell her about the invite from Katawaki, and Misaki assumes he's asking her out on a date. Mickey shuns her for such an assumption and ends the call. The next day, as Katawaki waits for Mickey at the pork cutlet, she calls him to inform him that she won't make it. Katawaki replies that her health is paramount if that's the problem, and they end the call. Meanwhile, Mickey meets Hiramasa in a bar, where he apologizes for breaking her heart, and also reveals that he was truly going to marry her, but his parents won't let him choose a marital partner. He invites her to have a drink in his room, but she declines and picks up her bag to leave. She tells him that she can't forgive him, but she's glad he apologized. With this, Hiramasa asks for a make-up handshake, which she grants before leaving. If only Mickey knows that this handshake will bring her so much joy the following day. After meeting with Hiramasa, Mickey arrives at her workplace, where Katawaki confronts her with a picture of her shaking hands with Hiramasa. She's later seen with Kurosaki, and Katawaki scolding her for making such a mistake. Kurosaki reveals that their party sees her as a threat since she associates with their rival. Mickey asks if she's out of the election, which Kurosaki confirms, and blames her for making such a mistake at a critical time, before leaving in anger. Katawaki follows suit, leaving her all alone. Mickey returns home sitting on the floor sober when Misaki walks in and calls her, but she doesn't respond. Instead, she holds her pendant, which has a meaning attached to it, and recites the words, "Even if we fail, there's a meaning attached to it." She comes up with an idea on how to salvage the situation and rushes to her computer. In the morning, she starts going to different political party offices, asking to be their political candidate, but they all turn her down. Feeling dejected, she goes to the riverbank to relax when Katawaki approaches her. He gives her a party flyer, explaining that the party's candidate resigned due to ill health. Mickey is so excited and tries to say something to Katawaki when he's about to leave, but he cautions her not to tell silly lies and be the honest girl she's always been. They engage in a little play afterward. Later, Mickey and Katawaki go to the party's office to officially register as a member. The party executives welcome her warmly and are excited to have them in their party. Soon, they begin to prepare her office, and once it's ready, they proceed to have a party campaign. During one campaign outing, Mickey notices a TV presenter on the street screen painfully announcing her resignation. She recognizes her as Miyaki, the runner-up she had during a campus pageant. Afterward, she's seen with Mariko in a restaurant asking her to help her in her political pursuit, but Mariko refuses, reminding her of the day she humiliated her and also calling her reason for going into politics a stupid one. Mickey agrees with her but tells her that she can't back off now as Hiramasa will have strong feet. Mariko tells her that she can't help her and attempts to leave when Mickey falls on her knees begging for her support, attracting the attention of people in the restaurant. After their initial meeting at the restaurant, Mariko eventually becomes a member of Mickey's party and was able to get her fans to attend Mickey's campaign. Mickey is surprised to see a large number of people that day and later learns that they're Mariko's followers. Mariko approaches Mickey and advises her to show gratitude to the people present, and Mickey tries to give excuses. Mariko questions if she still wants to be loved by people, and she quickly agrees, realizing the importance of public support. As the campaign progresses, 3 children run up to Mickey, asking her to help them open a drink, but she dismisses them to go meet their mother. Mariko clears her throat as a reminder of her goals. She stops and helps the children who run off in excitement. her campaign progresses to hospitals and other areas in the region where she meets many people. On another occasion, she meets the three children again, and this time they ask her some questions, to which she responds intelligently, earning applause from the children and the crowd at large. After the campaign, they return to their office. While they work, Mariko approaches Miki and begins to tell her how she feels about Katawaki, expressing her desire to ask him out on a date. Before Miki can say anything, she rushes out to go talk to Katawaki. Later at night, Katawaki joins Miki in the office where she commends him for his work, but he attributes it to Mariko, who has been helpful. He advises Miki to go home, as they'll have a busy day tomorrow. Miki in turn asks why he's yet to go home, and also inquires if he's going to eat with Mariko at a restaurant. Katawaki debunks her claims and tells her that he doesn't have any business in any fancy restaurant. He gives Miki a note from the region president, showing his support and the support of the community at large. Katawaki notices that Miki is researching the cause of smelly feet as a result of the question asked by one of the children during the campaign. He smiles happily as Miki is gradually changing. After reading the note, Miki complains that it feels like she's deceiving the people. Her complaints prompt Katawaki to reveal that he was in high school. The person who him actually became a politician, so he decided to also make a politician win in order to become a secretary. Miki is surprised to hear this and questions his goal as revenge too, but Katawaki tells her that he was joking about the story. He tells her that the goal doesn't matter so long as she makes her people happy. He promises to treat her to a meal if she's successful in the election. After some discussion, he leaves. In the morning, Katawaki makes an announcement with the team all gathered. After the brief announcement, Mariko hurriedly shows Miki a trending video of some ladies calling out Hiromasa to take responsibility for his actions. Mariko rejoices that it's over for Hiromasa, but Kurosaki tells them that Hiromasa's family will always find a way. Meanwhile, at Hiromasa's party office, tension increases as the video circulates. His father calls everyone to order, promising to get the misunderstanding sorted out as soon as possible. He calls his son and tells him the need to win the election no matter what, as he's going to be the first prime minister in the Saito family. He also reveals it has always been his dream to become a prime minister, but it didn't come to pass. The world would have definitely been a better place if Hiromasa's father had become a prime minister. Afterward, Miki goes for a TV interview, where the interviewer brings back a question about the picture of her having a handshake with Hiromasa, leaving her speechless and uncomfortable. After the interview, Miki returns to her office and plays a video of reporters interviewing Hiromasa. One of the reporters assumes Miki is the one behind the circulating video, but Hiromasa tells him he doesn't know anything about it. Once he leaves, a young man shows up with a microphone, and Miki recognizes him as one of Hiromasa's men. It appears the press interview was staged. As they discuss what they just saw, the lady from before runs into her office carrying a baby and crying. She explains that people are calling her a liar sent by Miki, and her life is in danger as her name and address were leaked after the protest. She blames herself for all that is happening, and Miki embraces her tightly, telling her it's not her fault. Suddenly, Miki runs out, hops onto a bicycle, and rides to Hiromasa's office. On getting to his office, she confronts him for putting out Rinko's address on the internet, and Hiromasa begins to make a mockery of her, advising her to leave politics for the smart ones, or better still be smart. Miki stands for a while fuming in anger, and quickly rushes to fight Hiromasa, but Katawaki takes over instead and lands a heavy punch on him. When Hiromasa gets hold of what just happened and questions if Katawaki knows the consequences of what he just did, Katawaki replies, "It's no big deal," as he's no longer a secretary. This revelation shocks Miki, who tries to understand what he means by that, but he only tells her that she can win by herself, before he's taken away by the police. Miki returns to her office feeling so bad about the incident, and sits down sober. The next day, Kurosaki reveals that Hiromasa's party has decided not to say a word about what happened the previous day, and Katawaki has decided to take the blame. Miki gets furious and questions which Katawaki will take the blame, and they also have to say nothing about the incident. Kurosaki explains that nobody will elect a violent candidate, and Katawaki is protecting her, hence their reason for keeping quiet. She tells Miki that the only way to pay Katawaki for his good is by winning the election, and in order to win the election, she has to forget what happened to him. She leaves Miki to wallow in her own thoughts. The final day of the campaign arrives and Miki is seen at home, lost in thought. Misaki is about to leave for school and informs her, but Miki doesn't respond, so she goes in to check on her. She finds her lost in thought and calls her attention. They both sit, and she gives Miki her 2 cents on the forthcoming election, pointing out that even if she wins the election and has regrets, then it's pointless. She wishes Mickey well and leaves the house. Later, Mickey arrives at her campaign venue where one of the party leaders introduces her as a person of integrity. Taking the stage, Mickey starts her speech by debunking the claim about her honesty. To the surprise of her team and the audience, she shares her reason for contesting in the election, acknowledging Katawaki for making her a changed person with a changed mindset. She pledges to prioritize her people and asks for their support in the election. After her speech, only an elderly woman applauds her for her honesty, but soon, children she had helped before join her, prompting the crowd to follow suit. Seeing Katawaki among the crowd, she rushes to him and confesses her feelings, asking him to stand by her, even beyond politics. He embraces her, and they share a passionate kiss, causing the crowd to cheer them happily. Following Mickey's successful campaign, she emerges the winner of the election. Kurosaki congratulates her and extends her hand for a handshake, but Mickey reminds her of the promise to give her a seat on the Prime Minister's chair, stating that the handshake will follow only upon fulfillment of that promise. Afterward, Katawaki fulfills his promise to take Mickey to a pork cutlet restaurant, where they celebrate her victory by enjoying pork together.